Caleb's performance and production from Sunday. What do you want him to carry forward with him from what he did on Sunday?
I think what I'm most impressed at with him and his process is the next day he really locks everything in from the day before, and we don't have to go back and revisit it again. So he's a quick study in that regard, and because of that, we can load up the game plan more each week. You know, he won Offensive Player of the Week there for the NFC, and he came in today and completely unfazed by it. You know, I tried to recognize him in front of the group, and he wasn't having it. You know, it's very stoic, and he's already on to the next game. He knows he needs to have an even better performance here this week to give us the best chance to win.
Okay, that was Ben Johnson on Caleb Williams winning Offensive Player of the Week, an award which unfortunately has been forever sullied by JJ McCarthy winning in Week 1, but that's okay. Caleb Williams comes in at number 5 on your quarterback rankings, Matthew.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this game a little bit earlier, especially when we were talking about Odunze, but I think this game has sneaky shootout potential, Raiders-Bears, and so far this year, Caleb Williams is 3rd in deep ball rate, which is obviously for a percentage of passes that go at least 15 air yards or more. He's 3rd. Like, he's chucking it deep in this Ben Johnson's offense. Oh, by the way, the Raiders, they're tied for the 5th most receptions allowed on deep passes. So you get a guy who's throwing it deep against a defense. Ipso facto, ergo, there you go. Obviously, you got a guy throwing it deep against a defense that isn't good against the deep ball. By the way, they're also bottom 8 in yards per completion and yards per pass attempt allowed. These are the Raiders. I have Caleb Williams as a top 5 fantasy quarterback. Also making the love list, Jordan Love. See what I did there? There you go. Just a little. Yeah, you should just write that down. A little host hint for you.
Sure.
That's what's called a segue.
Okay, you skipped ahead, but that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. Jordan Love is, I can't pass up the segue, Jay.
Yeah, sure.
Screw your rundown. Love of God. Here's the thing about Jordan Love. Cowboys allow 27.8 fantasy points per game to quarterbacks. That is the most in the NFL. Only 3 quarterbacks, all 3 quarterbacks that have faced the Cowboys so far this year have scored at least 24 fantasy points. There's no team that's worse in pass defense this year than the Cowboys. They're allowing 9.8 yards per pass attempt so far. And the Packers, of course, have the 2nd highest implied team total on the slate. Give me Jordan Love as a top 10 fantasy quarterback this week.
Yep. This weekend, Lawrence, there's a matchup in Baltimore with the best rushing quarterback in the NFL. I speak not of Lamar Jackson. I speak of Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, where do I begin? The Baltimore defense ain't hitting on nothing. They're the worst defense, 2nd worst pass defense, and they allow the 4th most fantasy points per game to quarterback. And Patrick Mahomes versus the Ravens is money. He's 4-1 versus them, and he's thrown for at least 340 yards in 4 of those games. The other one was 291. And now Patrick Mahomes is running because they can't run the ball. And Xavier Worthy got a practice in this week. Like Patrick Mahomes a lot this week.
Yep, I like Matthew Stafford a lot against the Colts. Total in that one is 49.5, juiced over. It might even close 50. The Colts are missing their star slot corner in Kenny Moore. It's a problem because Puka Nacua is playing over 40% of his snaps in the slot.
Yeah,
so I think
Puka's
Stafford
good.
and Puka are going to go off as we look at the matchups with the highest point totals. You can see Colts-Rams stands alone. 2 elite offenses. Who'd have thought that the Indianapolis Colts would be in that discussion? But they are, and I think that's a very real
Jaguars
development.
49ers having that high of a total is pretty interesting given two offenses.
No Nick Bosa.
No Nick Bosa, I get it. But
defense.
neither of those offenses have looked great, as of late, and the Niners obviously banged up.
May fix that. All right,
yes.
let's get to some others receiving votes. Another guy who's not looked great so far, Matthew, Bo Nix.
He has not looked good, but I think the Cincinnati Bengals defense cures all. They're 25th in pass defense. They've given up 5 touchdown passes in just the last 2 games. And the Broncos, surprisingly, despite Bo Nix's struggles, are 5th in pass rate over expected. So I do think at home against the Bengals, Nix gets it going, gets off the schneid. I'm as a top 10 play this week. And I already talked about this a little bit, but how about Geno Smith against that Bears? We think Caleb Williams in Chicago moves the ball, and so Geno's going to have to throw. By the way, quietly, this is one of the reasons why Ashton Genty has struggled. That's all Geno's doing. He's throwing. He's averaging over 35 pass attempts a game. That's a top 8 in the NFL. And the Bears, for all their offensive success, have struggled defensively. Jalen Johnson, that's an injury. They miss him. Bears are bottom 5 in both touchdown rate and yards per pass attempt allowed. And so I think this is a sneaky shootout. 47.5 over-under. I think Geno and Caleb go back and forth. I think you could do worse as a streamer this week than Geno Smith.
Feels like Geno's destiny is always to have these 320 pass yard games with 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and lose by a field goal.
Yes. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com. And I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched. Or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.